Seven Footers crew, how are we doing, guys? It feels so good to say that again, Jarod, because we are back. The NBA is back. The preseason is here. The overreactions are crazy, and you're not buying it.
Not buying any of it. Not buying any of it. It's early, folks. Let's not lose our minds. All good.
Classic. How we doing over there, Jarod, in your Chicago Bulls red?
Can't complain. It's the weather's changed so fast, right? It's like in the 50s. I mean, we're getting the remnants of Hurricane Ian up here. I mean, look, all the people in its actual path down in Florida and the southern states, much thoughts and prayers with them to get through that safely. But we're getting all the remnants of the end rain up here, and it's like in the 50s. It's we moved. Fall was kind of like a week, and now we're already getting close to winter, it seems like.
I am so here for this weather, Jarod. You have no idea. I have had so many leather things that I have needed to wear. It has been problematic and hurtful for me not to wear them until now. So, you know what's up. All the fall candles, that vibe. Gotta light a candle, sing Kumbaya around the fire. That's what the Phoenix Suns need to do. Because we got do we have some trouble in Phoenix, or should we pump the brakes? Because, guys, I don't know if you heard, maybe you didn't hear of the Adeline 36ers from Australia's National Basketball League. And I don't laugh as in, downgrading them at all. Not a common name that you really hear.
Right.
And the Phoenix Suns lost to them in their preseason opener at home, 134-124. I mean, the internet was stunned. The internet was wild. And the memes were even better.
Wow.
So what's the vibes here? What's going on in Phoenix?
Twitter's here for jokes, Jenna. So, of course, we're going to fire off these jokes and do what we got to do. And, look, in the NBA, teams can get hot, right? Or in a basketball game, anybody can be picked off in one game, right? The Adelaide 36ers were hot from three. I think they hit 23s in that game. If there's a game where you give up 23s, you're going to lose. Like, that's just the math just says that, right? So I don't think there's anything about the Sixers they need to be worried about per se in terms of that game. Mm-hmm. What I would be concerned about, though, if I was a Phoenix Suns fan, Jenna, is the fact that Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton have not had a one-on-one conversation since Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals at the end of last playoffs. That would be more of my concern. Jay Crowder not wanting to be there, wanting out. There's some bad juju around that team right now. And, of course, the Robert Sarver situation has been hanging over their head. That, to me, is a far more concern than a random preseason game against the Adelaide 36ers.
Big facts. Different levels to that, too. And you're right. You have so many points. But the thing is, though, if you really think about it, unless they are the best secret keepers and pulling the wool over our eyes, the Phoenix Suns seem like the happiest place on earth to be. It was like Disneyland, literally. Monty Williams, coach of the year every year. Chris Paul, greatest leader ever. So, like, what's going on? Like, DeAndre and kind of seemed a little miserable, not talkative at media day. And, he had said that he hadn't talked to Monty Williams since that. Again, I would say now viral type of interaction. He benched him, and there was some type of reported scuffle between the two. So what's going on? Obviously, we know that Ayton didn't get the bag, but
then he eventually
Crowder
did.
Too, sitting out until they figure out what, a destination or an agreement?
A trade for him, because Jay Crowder's mad because Cam Johnson's going to be starting over him. Look, it just, again, the vibes around that team right now aren't great. And again, we talk about this all the time, Jenna. You make the NBA finals, and there is this like belief or feeling among fan bases or whatever. All right, next year we'll go back, we'll make it. Look, man, ain't no guarantees you going back next year. Okay, that's not how this game works. The Suns went to the finals 2 years ago. We're up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks. Lost 4 straight. The Bucks won the title. Last season they come back, best record in the NBA. They lose in 7 games to the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference semifinals. This year, all the drama, they're trending in the wrong direction, okay? And Chris Paul is a year older. Again, look, it's just these things that, and Monty Williams as this great leader of men, Chris Paul as this great leader, they're going to have to galvanize that locker room and get those guys together, because winning a championship is hard, man. And we say this all the time, Jenna. In the NBA, in an 82-game season, the storm is coming. Something is going to happen. Well, Phoenix already got 2 storms hanging over their head right now, right? Something else is likely going to happen this season too. So let's just work out what we can control and, worry about that instead of inviting more bad juju around us, right? They can't control the server situation, so that is what it is. But this DeAndre Ayton situation, let's get this thing nipped in the bud. Let's get these guys together, come to Jesus, whatever you got to do to fix that thing. Again, so I'm less concerned about the Adelaide 36ers, whatever, that was what it was, and more about, hey, man, this team better get themselves together.
1000%, because so much potential there. And, they've had so many far runs in the postseason, but again, never got to where it really matters. So let's talk about more things happening around preseason, because we have the return and the debuts. Again, it's not that serious, but it is, because Jamal Murray's back. MPJ is back. Your guys, Kawhi Leonard, Kathai Leonard, Ben Simmons is here and he's smiling. Are we living in the greatest era of NBA? No, I'm kidding. But talk about pump the brakes. But
I know.
For real, talk to me about what's happening around preseason. I mean, it's super exciting to see these guys back out on the floor, returning from injury.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, Jenna. For the fans of these players and these teams, it is nice that they are back on the floor playing meaningful basketball again. Kawhi Leonard hasn't played basketball in 447 days, something like that, until his last until his preseason game on Monday night. He looked pretty good in 16 minutes of action, and they're gonna ramp him up slowly and bring him along slowly. You mentioned Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. As you know, I'm high on Denver, and we'll talk about them in our over-unders. I love that they're back. They look pretty good as well. Look, it's going to take these guys some time to get their rust, work out the kinks, get the rust off, because playing pickup is different than even practice in the NBA, even training camp, even scrimmaging, than an actual NBA game, even preseason, and then regular season, and then playoffs, if they're lucky enough to go that far. So it's going to be a ramp up, but it's nice to see all those guys, and same with Ben Simmons. The big thing for him, Jenna, as you know, is the environment, him being at peace where he feels safe to express what he needs to express, feel how he needs to feel. And again, it's early. Everything's feeling good. Everybody's feeling great. But as I said before about the Phoenix Suns, this is the NBA. The storm is coming at some point. How do we manage the storm when it gets here?
That's the thing. So time will tell, because, oh man, the season is young. Oh, so exciting. Let's move on really quick to a more serious topic, because Karl Anthony Towns, you guys remember over the summer he got paid, signed that super max with the Timberwolves. Well, we haven't seen him, because now we know that he missed out on media day and this preseason here so far with an infection that he had, a non-COVID illness, but it was an infection that he was hospitalized for. Said he lost 17 pounds. Pretty serious, scary stuff there. He said he's still recovering. It was some type of infection of the throat that made him have trouble breathing. And he said, quote, there was more drastic things to worry about than basketball while he was ill.
Yeah, of course.
So serious stuff. Jordan Woods, his girlfriend, even said on Instagram that she had to take him to the hospital sometime last week or recently. Scary stuff, especially, all basketball aside. Hope he's okay.
For sure.
Hope he's doing well, especially, everything he's been through with his parents and things of that nature.
And with COVID.
But yeah, on the basketball side of it, pretty worrisome stuff to begin the season with your star who you just paid Supermax, especially when it comes to a breathing issue. I mean,
no doubt. I think
3 minutes almost.
Yeah, and losing 17 pounds, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
Right.
So it's going to take Karl some time to get himself back together and, ramp himself back up. And he said he's still recovering. And make no mistake, people, I know Karl Anthony Towns is easy to make fun of and, be an internet meme because of how he talks and his voice sounds and all these things. But if the Timberwolves are going to be good this year, Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to be a big reason why. As much as everyone's excited about Anthony Edwards and the Rudy Gobert edition and all that, Karl Anthony Towns was all NBA last season and an all-star. That is the dude who's got the Supermax contract. He's the one who's going to have to be very good again if the Timberwolves are going to reach the potential that many people feel they can have. So, again, the gift and the curse of a long NBA season is he's got some time to ramp himself up and get ready. But, it's important that he get time on the floor playing with Rudy Gobert. That's going to be a very different scenario playing with a big like Rudy, which he hasn't done before in his career, right? So something to keep an eye on. I'm not overly worried about it, But Minnesota fans, I would just, pay attention. Again, if you want to be as good as you think you're going to be, Cat is a huge part of that.
Yeah, definitely, especially because of how competitive, the East and the West has gotten.
Mhm.
I mean, they're going to need him to really get as far as they can. All right, let's move on and talk about the Milwaukee Bucks because Giannis is making headlines today
Mhm.
for a quote that he said. That he said, quote, "It takes more than skills to be great. That's what people don't understand." He was talking about being in the NBA, and he quoted he named players like LeBron James and Michael
Mhm.
Jordan
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
praised them for their consistency. That's why they're so
Mhm.
good. It's being
Mhm.
obsessed, being consistent.
Mhm.
So interesting praise for him. And then KD
Mhm. And Steph.
came out
Mhm.
and said, in his humble opinion, that what was it? I'm paraphrasing, but mentality and skill go hand in hand. He said
Mhm.
something like that. And what did
Mhm.
Steph Curry say?
Well, Giannis had mentioned Steph in his
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Look,
Yeah.
Giannis. So it's funny, right? Like Giannis, he's a great player, right? Two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, multiple All NBAs, NBA champion. In the playoffs on NBA Twitter, he often gets derided because he doesn't have a quote unquote bag, right? Like his shot doesn't look pretty. He doesn't hit you with that pull up hezzy left, right, and like that's not his game, right?
Yeah.
But but to Giannis's point, skill alone isn't enough to make you great in this in this league. You have to also want it and be maniacal about it. And when I say maniacal, I mean obsessive. The great players of all time and the great players of this generation, as Giannis mentioned in that quote, your LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry's, Kobe Bryant's, Kevin Durant's. Of course, those people are highly skilled, but they are maniacal people when it comes to working out in basketball and working on their craft. You cannot be that good otherwise. It isn't just about skill. You cannot make it in this league if you're not maniacal. It just doesn't work. And having that kind of obsessive competitiveness, that is a skill. Okay. And that is a superpower that Giannis has, right? He is just obsessively competitive and goes hard 24/7 on both ends. In an all-star game, he's going hard when most people are not, right? That's just how that is his superpower, right?
Yeah.
And I'll give a quick story for our listeners out there. So everyone remembers that, and this just goes to show you the maniacalness of NBA players and how much they obsess and are constantly working on their game. The Brooklyn Nets get swept out of the playoffs last year, right? So Durant is home earlier than expected.
Hmm.
And so I'm talking to someone who's very close to him. So this is a source close to Durant.
Okay.
So he was telling me, he's like, so Kevin's like, all right, man, what am I going to do? Like, I didn't expect to be out this early, all this stuff. And they're like, all right, man, why don't you take a vacation? Just kind of clear your mind for a little bit. He's like, all right. So remember, Katie, at the end of the playoffs last year, we saw him. He was in Monaco following Mike James, former teammate around. He
Yeah.
played for the Nets, watching Mike James play in the Euro League championships, right? 48 hours, Jenna, 2 days. Durant's talking to this guy like, yo, I got to get into a gym. I got to work. It's like, dog, the playoffs just ended 2 days ago. Camp doesn't start again until end of September. You got time. Nah, got to get in the gym. Got to work. Like, these people don't understand days off. Like, that's not how their brains work. They just
Yeah.
go
They don't have normal schedules either.
oftentimes to their detriment, right? Because they often need rest. It's like, you got to rest, man. And that's just the mindset of these guys. And you cannot be great if and it's in anything, not just basketball. You look at anybody who is at the top of their craft in anything, they spend countless hours obsessing and working at the thing. That's how you become really good at it. There's no substitute for it. It ain't natural talent matters. Yes, you need that too. But if there's no work with it, it ain't happening. So that's what Giannis is talking about. And that is Giannis's superpower. He has that ability.
Facts there. I mean, good point too. Because he doesn't get the praise that he should on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to all
Mm-hmm.
that. But y'all know how the internet be out here. Petty as hell. Petty as hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's also petty to some people? The NBA's GM survey that was published on Tuesday, October 4th. Y'all know how it goes. The 30 GMs vote on a questionnaire of 50 questions, and it's between the best players, coaches, and the whole 9 yards. Basically, their predictions wins for the season. And
Mhm.
a lot of people have disagreements that the Bucks are favorited to win the title and that Luka's gonna win the MVP, Paolo Banchero is gonna be the rookie of the year, and so it goes on. And that the Lakers are gonna finish 8th in the West. That's just my problem. But it's okay. But interesting stuff here. A lot of people kind of up in arms about this. Jarod, and I know y'all feel some type of way about it.
I mean, guys, just because the NBA GMs feel that way doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. Like, these are just 30 people. Yes, they are GMs of NBA franchises. So your thought process is, well, they must know a lot. Some of them do, some of them don't, right? But at the end of the day, it's all an educated guess. No one has a crystal ball. We
Yeah,
don't know if the Bucks are going to win it. We have no idea. It's just that a lot of GMs think that they will. A lot of GMs think Luka will win the MVP. Those two things are, it's very possible they happen. The Bucks have a in his prime superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo, whom we just talked about. Right now, they're missing Chris Middleton, so they're gonna need him to come back. Right, but Brook Lopez is healthy, and this is a team that is 2 years removed from winning an NBA championship. So we know they know what it takes. So it's not that hard to pick a team that recently won, say they're going to win again. So let's not get up in arms over that. And the idea of Luka winning an MVP, guys, he's been All NBA first team last season, and guess what? The narrative is going to be in his favor this year because we know the MVP is a narrative-based award, and Luka played Eurobasket this summer for Slovenia, his national team, which means he's going to come into camp in shape, unlike in seasons past.
true.
So if the Mavericks race out to a good start to the season and Luka's putting up insane numbers, he's going to have that narrative in his favor. That's all possible. Is it guaranteed? No one's saying that. That's just what they think. The majority of GMs think that. It could happen. It could not. It's likely, sure, and it's possible. Luka is the betting favorite to win the MVP right now. And the Bucks, I want to say, are the second or third best odds to win the NBA title right now. So look, those two things are likely. They could happen. They could also not. Let's not lose our minds. It's still preseason.
Exactly. Touche. I will just, on a last note, let you know that, like last year, the GMs once again voted LeBron James best IQ in the league.
Listen, we don't. We're going to get to LeBron James when we talk about the Lakers. So don't you worry. We'll have plenty of time to talk about your boy LeBron.
I'm just saying, I'm just stating the facts out here. I'm just reporting the news. Reporting the news. Okay. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. The Western Conference preview, where I barely weigh in because Jarod's opinions are so much better than mine. So you guys know how it goes with last week's Eastern Conference preview. I'm going to go down the list, tell you guys the over-under here, and then Jarod's going to spit the facts. And, of course, don't forget, y'all, he stays winning you guys money every Tuesday.
Stay winning you money.
This season. So let's dive into it and talk about, lo and behold, here they are at the top of the list in no particular order, the Phoenix Suns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 52.5 rating there. What are the vibes?
I mean, we talked about them, right? I don't love the juju right now around this team. I just don't like it. And in many ways, Jenna, it's not even basketball related. It's just something just doesn't seem right to me right now. And look, I'm not saying they can't figure it out. Of course they can. They won 64 games last year. So for the over-under to be set at 52.5, that's already a downgrade from last year, right? And the West has gotten better. I'm going to go ahead and say this is probably a push. I see them coming in right around 52 wins. I don't see them winning 60-plus games for a number of factors. That bad juju I mentioned, but also recognizing, look, we can't go out and go all out this regular season and have nothing left in the tank come postseason. And the West is better. They're going to be not a lot of easy wins. I mean, yeah, at the bottom against San Antonio, Houston, Oklahoma City, Sacramento. Yeah, you'll beat up on those teams. But everybody else ahead of them, like it's not going to be easy.
No, it's definitely not. Just like the Suns, 52.5 for the Clippers. Now, I mean, this is an exciting time for the Clippers because they have Kawhi back, and we're going to get to see how this PG Kawhi cohesiveness vibes on the floor. Like, I don't know what's with me in the vibes today, but excited about that. And a lot of people have a lot. I mean, is it almost too much confidence in the Clippers?
No, because when Kawhi Leonard is on the floor, he is a two-way wrecking force, capable of averaging 30 points a game and locking up the other team's best offensive player, right? He is that good. one of the league leaders in estimated plus minus. Like, he is just efficient scorer. Like, he is that dude. We know the NBA is a wings league. He's one of the best two-way wings in the game. So yeah, like, not surprising. The big thing for them is going to be, is Kawhi going to be healthy this year? That's the thing. Can they count on 60 games combined from him and Paul George playing together? So both playing together for 60 games. If they get that, look, Jenna, this team could win 55 games. Like, I really believe that. So I'm going to go slide over on the Clippers because I like what they have. Of course, they have Zubac, Reggie Jackson, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard. Like, this team is very, very good. Marcus Morris Sr. Like, I just like a lot of what they have. And Ty Lue is an excellent coach.
I was just gonna say,
yeah,
Ty
so
Lue just fills in any doubtful gap.
exactly. And because he had them playing well last year without Kawhi, right? So again,
Yeah,
they're gonna manage Kawhi's minutes and they're gonna build him back in, get this core together. I really like this Clippers team, and as the other team in LA, because the Lakers always get more coverage, no one's gonna be really worrying about them, right? So they're gonna be able to work on their stuff and fly under the radar a bit while the drama happens across the hall with the Lakers.
that is also true. Real quick question. Who would you say is the third guy on the Clippers? Who is it?
Reggie Jackson.
Like,
I think
who like, if it were to be a big three, who is it gonna be?
it's Reggie Jackson, but I think this idea of like a big three, I think we're moving away from that. It's less about who your big three is and who are your best five. Right? Who are your best five guys? And in the playoffs, who are your best, who are your best five, your best six that can play massive minutes and give you versatility, positional flexibility to go big, to go small. Like, right? Who are your best 5 to 7 guys? That's what matters. Not so much about big three. Yes, it helps when you have 3 all NBA guys, but as we know, if you have 3 all NBA guys, that means that the rest of your roster can't be full of also very good players, because the money it costs to get those 3 means that we got to go veteran minimum the rest of the way, right? So you need a more complete roster. You need a complete team. I mean, look at the Golden State Warriors, right? They won. Steph Curry is the only all NBA player on that roster, right? Klay Thompson was an all NBA last year. Now there was Draymond, right? So he's one, but everything complements and fits together, right? That's what works. Same thing with their opponents, the Celtics, right? Jason Tatum was all NBA, and then everybody else fits around, right? That's what matters. Do the pieces fit? Do you have a roster that can be flexible and do different things?
Jarod Hector, the future GM. Now, let's talk about those Golden State Warriors, because this has me a little surprised, because 51.5 is the over-under here. But to me, yes, everybody around the league might have gotten better, mostly. But you have the same championship team returning, including James Wiseman, who's been balling out in the preseason. Again, not overreacting, but still. I mean, another solid center for you.
Huge.
I don't get it. Why aren't they higher?
Because the Warriors know the regular season is, they're not going to go out here chasing 60 wins. They've already done that. They're like, we want to be healthiest come April. They don't care if they're the 1 seed or the 4 seed, because they know they can win on the road. They can win anywhere. It don't matter. So for them, it's all about pacing themselves and being the healthiest when it matters. So that's why the over-under is set a little bit lower. You're going to see a lot of the young guys getting some playing time as Steve Kerr manages the minutes of his superstars.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, Jenna, Steph and Klay and Draymond, they're not 28. Okay. These guys are in their 30s, right? So you have the 82 game season after just going deep into June last year. They gotta manage that, right? Play those young guys. Injuries are a concern, right? Draymond missed time last year. Klay's coming off 2 major injuries. Steph missed time last year. So all those things factor into the 51.5. I'm going to say slight over for them. I see them in the 52, 53 win range.
All right. I like it. Yeah. It's hard to believe that those Warriors are just aging life. But the Denver Nuggets, exciting time for the Denver Nuggets. We previewed that a couple minutes ago. 49.5 is the over-under here. I'm not mad at it. A lot of people returning from injury, as we know, younger team. What are your thoughts?
I like the over here. With Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back. First of all, with Jamal Murray, you have that Nikola Jokic Murray pick and roll, which is devastating. Let's not also forget Nikola Jokic, the reigning back-to-back NBA MVP. Okay, like that dude is incredible. And now he's
Watching
got.
horses on
I
his
mean,
phone during the preseason.
he's excellent. He's like, I'm good, man. Nikola also played in Eurobasket for his national team, Serbia. So
Yep.
he's in shape to start the season. I like this team a lot, Jenna. I think, remember I said this last year. I was like, oh, if they're healthy, I like them to win the West. I love this team to
You
battle
did
with
say
the Clippers to be at the top of the conference. So I can see them winning 55 games this year. Again, assuming Murray and Porter Jr. can play, 65-ish games or so. The team is already used to playing without them, right, with Jokic. And I like the addition of Bruce Brown to the team this year, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. They get some defense out on the perimeter. They get someone off the bench in Brown who can play that short roll five, who can space out the floor a little bit, starting to shoot the three better. I really enjoy this team. Aaron Gordon can now slide back into his more natural role, which is the number 4 option instead of being the number 2 option, right? Aaron Gordon as your number 4 is really good. Aaron Gordon as your number 2, maybe not so much, right? An overqualified number 4. That's a beautiful thing. So I love it. I like the over for the Denver Nuggets.
love this. Love Denver. Definitely a league pass team.
For sure.
All right. The Grizzlies, talking about exciting young teams. I mean, Ja Morant, say no more. 48.5 for the over-under. I mean, I'm excited to see this. And I'm predicting that they're going to make a deep run.
So here's the thing about the Memphis Grizzlies, and they won 56 games last year, but Vegas set the over-under for them this year at 48.5. What that's telling me is Vegas is like, Memphis snuck up on people last year and caught people by surprise. Well, no one's going to be caught by surprise by Memphis this year. Memphis is now circled, like many top teams are on people's calendar when they come to town for a variety of reasons. They're good, obviously, but Memphis, as we know, Jenna, is a team that likes to talk. All right, they're a trash talking team. Ja loves talking. What did he say last year? We climb all the way up the chimney. We ain't ducking no smoke, right? Well,
That was everywhere.
when you say things like that, teams are like, the NBA is full of a lot of alpha males with testosterone, right? And they don't like when they feel like their competitiveness or manhood is being questioned, right? So when a player is like calling them out or talking that talk, they're like, all right, next time we see you, I got something for you, right? So these teams are so Memphis is gonna be circled. So how do they handle being the hunted versus the hunter, right? Very different mentality when everyone's trying to come for you now. That's number 1. Number 2,
Sure.
they're going to be missing their best defensive player and their other franchise cornerstone in my guy, Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. to start the season. He's not going to, the timeline is sometime between November and January for him to be back, which is like, okay.
Oof.
Although Jaren put on his Instagram stories back soon, which means he's telling me he's feeling good and he's going to want to push the envelope. But you know my thoughts on that, Jenna. You got to protect these guys from themselves. I know he wants to play, but we don't want to risk further injury. You're too valuable to this team. Last year, without Ja Morant in the lineup, right? They're their best player. They went 20-5. So what can they do without their best defender in the lineup? I'm anxious to see that. I'm going to go over here on 48.5. Call it a homer pick, call it whatever you want, but I like the depth on that roster. Desmond Bane, D'Anthony Melton loss is going to hurt, but they re-signed Tyus Jones, and it's Zaire Williams time. He's going to get more playing time, and the rookies, Aldama, Roddy, Kenny Lofton Jr., all these guys are going to get more time, and I'm very curious to see how they play. And Desmond Bane now that people know the book's out, it's like you can shoot, okay. When you're on the scouting report now, how do you respond to that? What did you add to your game in the offseason, right? Has Ja developed a consistent jump shot and a reliable 3, right? So now have guys go, oh, crap. We know he can drive. We know he can drive past us. Can he also shoot the 3? Because if we're worried about that, well, now he's unstoppable.
Facts. Maybe, hopefully, we can get Triple J back on the pod. If you guys don't know, he was a guest.
He was. Trip, you hear that? I know you're listening. We got to get you back on the pod, buddy.
That's it. While you're rehabbing, doing your thing, we're here. We're here. Okay, let's chit chat about the Dallas Mavericks, because a lot of potential there. Of course, I mean, everybody thinks Luka's going to be the MVP according to all the GMs.
Look at that. I missed the Mavericks in our little bottom thirds here. Terrible me. But anyway, let's talk about them.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about him, because same as the Grizzlies, 48.5. What's going on here? What are your thoughts?
So we are. I mean, as I said, Luka's going to come in and be in shape because he played Eurobasket, so he's ready to roll. Jenna, other than Luka, that's putting a lot of faith in Tim Hardaway Jr. and Christian Wood and Spencer Dinwiddie and Maxi Kleber. I mean, they're all fine, but nobody else there is anyone to write home about. Now, Luka is so good, it don't really matter. As we saw last year against the Suns, where Luka is it don't matter. If he's the best player on the floor in a 7-game series, he'd beat anybody, right? And the Mavericks can beat anybody. But over the course of an 82-game season, can they win more than 48 games? I'm gonna go push. I say they win about 48 games, and they kind of hover right around there. Last year they won 52. I think the Jalen Brunson loss is going to hurt a little bit more than people think. So I say push, even.
Okay. Well, a serious question for you. Are the Timber Puppies still Timber Puppies at 48 and a half?
Well, I don't think they're drinking mommy's milk anymore. They got some, they're a little bit grown up now. Those pups are a little bit grown up. They went to the playoffs last year. Cat's a grizzled veteran. Ant's still a young man. Rudy Gobert, the new acquisition's a veteran. I like the over. I like the over for the Timberwolves because I think defensively, Rudy's going to do so much for them and really change their defensive identity. I love Anthony Edwards and his progression. D'Angelo Russell off the bench will be nice for them. I think they're going to win about 50 games this year, Jenna. Minnesota's going to surprise people, I think. Again, I'm watching the Cat recovery and how he looks coming back. That's, again, folks, he's a big piece. No Cat, this team ain't going to – they're not going to be good. So as much as we love all the guys I mentioned, he has to be healthy and good in order for them to be what they are. But I love them. They picked up Kyle Anderson from the Memphis Grizzlies, who they're gonna miss Kyle Anderson because Kyle's really good. Be a nice bench player for them. Jaden McDaniels showed a ton of promise last year. I like his game, super athletic. Torian Prince, good role player. You got Austin Rivers off the bench. Like this team a lot.
I agree with you in the fact that they're going to surprise people. I really do. I like this. So let's move on to a more sensitive topic for me. The Lakers, 45 and a half. Okay, like whatever. Yeah, we missed the postseason last year with like a 33-49 record. But it's fine. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Okay, we have Patrick Beverley now. Okay.
Let me tell you something right now. If you're like, well, we have Patrick Beverley now. If that is what you are banking on your season turning around,
we have Kendrick Nunn's healthy.
Look, Jenna, honestly, all jokes aside, this is about LeBron and Anthony Davis being healthy. If they are healthy and play 65 games or more, they'll be fine. If they don't, they won't. It is that simple. There really is nothing else to say beyond that. Now, do I think they'll be healthy? Jenna, I say this all the time. What is the biggest predictor of future injury?
Oh.
Yeah.
Past injury.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I was real nervous. I was like, I'm going to fail this test.
Previous injury. Who has been injured each of the last 3 seasons?
Anthony Davis.
And?
LeBron.
Correct. So, I mean, basically you're banking on them not getting hurt this year. Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan.
It could happen, but it could. It could totally happen. And if it does, they will win more games than 45. If it doesn't, they won't. I mean,
listen. Russell Westbrook is going to come back and not have a historically poor offensive
Is Westbrook going to be on this team past February?
Listen, we're taking it day by day. All right? We're taking it day by day. Isn't that what Bill Belichick said about Mac Jones and his ankle injury? Day by day.
With Nunn being back, with Reeves. And look, and the Lakers might make a move. Be on the lookout for the Lakers making a move if the team is healthy and they're doing well, right? And they decide to make a move for someone like, I don't know, a Miles Turner and or a Mike Conley. that could bolster this team. Again, Jenna, it is all predicated on the health of their two main guys. If they are healthy,
Yeah.
all good. All good. I just, because of that fact, I can't in good faith say, yeah, definitely bang the over. So I'm going to say stay away, but
Fair.
I think slide over is reasonable.
If you're betting, listen to Jarod. If you're operating solely off of emotion, listen to me. Okay, the self-help group is every Wednesday. Not really, but still. Let's talk about another team that I think is a super sleeper, but I think they're gonna come out here and they're gonna do something. I don't know what it is, but they're gonna do it. The New Orleans Pelicans, 44.5. Right under the Lakers there. We allegedly have a definitely healthy looking Zion. And this team might surprise us. I'm feeling it.
Jenna, he's another one. If he's healthy, not only do I like, first of all, I like the Pelicans over here. Not only if he's healthy, do I like the over. I like him to be an MVP dark horse. Like Zion, when he plays, is an all NBA level player already at this early stage of his career. The best interior scorer in the league. I mean, he's just a physical marvel. And that year of missing basketball, he talked about it. He felt it. And he changed some things, as he said, in his life. Read into that what you want, right? He started working with a personal chef and nutritionist. So look at him. He looks cut up and trimmed. A lot of that baby fat, that ain't there. He looks like a legit superhero. With him, Brandon Ingram, who's already an all-star, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, Kira Lewis. I mean, look, man, this team is dangerous. They took the Phoenix Suns to 6 games in round 1 last year. When that was without Zion. With Zion and without Zion, after when they got on that roll, they were on a 48-game pace winning streak. That was without Zion. You put him in the lineup, the team's winning over 50 games. They could be what Memphis was last year. I like this team a lot. I think Willie Green's, they found something. So I just think, watch out for this team. Again, if he's healthy, this team's going to be real fun to watch. Definite league pass. Make sure you mark them.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's all she wrote for them. Let's move on to the Portland Trailblazers, 39 and a half.
Did I skip them too? Jeez, I'm being so bad with my lower thirds here. Missed the Portland Trailblazers, but you know what, Jenna? We're in the bottom.
God forbid Jarod makes one mistake in like 20,000 years.
We're in the bottom of the over under, so we ain't spending a whole lot of time on these guys.
Nothing really happening in Portland there. I mean, oh, Dame, we love you. But Dame, it is time. It is time to figure it out. Okay.
I mean,
like, oh man. But
Jenna,
it's loyal.
Basically, they went from a Dame and CJ backcourt to a Dame and Anthony Simons backcourt, which is essentially the same thing, arguably a little bit worse. So we think they're going to win more games. 39.5. I'm gonna give Dame the benefit of the doubt that he's an all NBA guy. He'll push them to 40 games, 41. They'll finish 500. So slight over. But look, so they'll battle for that play-in area, right? Around 10-9. They'll battle there. But this team is not destined to make any deep playoff run or even guaranteed to get into the playoffs. I'm gonna give them a slight over at 41.
How generous of you.
And that's strictly out of respect for Dame.
Thank you for at least respecting him. You heard it here first. I think he's gone after this year. I think he's gone.
Look.
I don't think he can take it anymore.
He's wanted to leave forever, but he's afraid of the backlash is really what it comes down to. So
who cares? Rap about it. Let it out.
Yeah, exactly. Rap about it. Exactly.
All right. Let's move on because it just keeps getting worse. The Sacramento Kings at 33.5. Nothing really much again to say here, but what are you thinking?
My poor guys, Domantas Sabonis and Kevin Huerter out there. Look, the Kings have decided to go all in on De'Aaron Fox. Okay. Sure. Look, the Kings with De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter, Rashawn Holmes, Domantas Sabonis, I said Harrison Barnes. This team should be decent. And I
Okay.
think Mike Brown there is going to try to implement some of that Golden State Warriors offensive system that he learned under Steve Kerr. Is going to hopefully get them playing better defense. I'm going to give them the slight benefit of the doubt and say slight over Sacramento. Slight over. Maybe 35, 36 wins. But, you know, if they get lucky and they really find something, they might battle for that 10 spot. But, yeah.
Yeah. Not much to say there. Let's
No.
move on and talk about a team that talk about falling from grace. I
Oh,
mean, the
please.
Utah Jazz, 24 and a half. If you think about it, not too long ago, they were up there. They
They were the
were
number one team in the NBA. Offensive rating,
exactly.
adjusted net rating, all that. Look,
Exactly. So what are we
Danny
doing,
Ainge.
Dwayne? Oh, sorry.
Well,
My own problems.
Danny Ainge obviously wants to. It's a teardown and a rebuild, right? So Bogdanovich is already gone. We know Donovan Mitchell got traded. Like the next person, Rudy Gobert is gone. Lauri Markkanen, he just got traded there in the Donovan Mitchell trade. Look, he's someone that could be on the move. They're going to feature him a lot in the beginning of the season. So
Mhm.
a team that's going to be close to the playoffs, Lakers might have their eye on Lauri Markkanen, nice 7-footer to pair next to AD, who can space the floor. They're going to feature Markkanen and trade him because they want more draft picks. Danny's in full teardown mode because they want to be in the lottery to get to go after Victor Wembanyama, the potential number one pick, the French teenager, who's going to play tonight actually against the G League Ignite team. We're looking forward to seeing him in action. But yeah, Utah has no interest in winning this year, so fire sale is going to continue.
It's amazing. All right. The OKC Thunder, similar stuff here. 23 and a half. Again, they have so many goddamn draft picks in their arsenal. Does it even matter at this point?
Chet Holmgren's another one who, first of all,
Oh,
he's out for the
man.
season, rehabbing. So, I mean, they weren't going to win anyway. So, a person to watch, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. How long is he there? He can't be thrilled about another losing season. So, I can see him saying to GM Sam Presti, I get what you're doing here. I ain't on the timeline with these kids. So, quietly, please trade me. And Oklahoma City gets back another haul of draft capital, some of the young talent that goes along more in timeline. And again, they want to be in the lottery as well to go after Victor.
OKC thrives in the lottery. It's where they live.
That's where they
It's where
live.
they like operate best. Real quick though on Alexander,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what was it that I read something or I saw something that he ain't happy, and that like is a real thing. Like
Yeah, why would I mean?
apparently, reportedly.
He's heading towards his prime, Jenna, and he's excellent. He can be on a team that's destined for the playoffs and really help them. Why would he want to be with another losing season? Like NBA guys don't like to lose. Like
It's
you don't
hard.
want to hear that. So get him to a place where he can win and or at least contend. You know, I mean, wow, he would be excellent paired next to a guy like Cade Cunningham in Detroit. You
Love
know,
that.
so that way you trade Jaden Ivey down to Oklahoma City, right? So you have a nice backcourt there in Detroit. I mean, you can just a lot of different places he could go. I like that a lot. So yeah, look out for SGA to be on the move potentially.
Yeah. Oh man, it's going to be a good get. Let's move on and talk about the Houston Rockets. 23 and a half. I think they're going to be a sleeper. I think they're going to surprise us. You got those young guys there. Jalen
Sengun,
Green.
Jalen Green. You know, I mean,
Kevin Porter? Is he still
Kevin
there?
Porter. Yep,
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. Okay, slide over. 26 wins, 27. I mean, let's put it this way: they ain't gonna be contending for no playoffs or the play-in. I just don't see it.
That's rough. Last but certainly not least, the San Antonio Spurs, 22 and a half. If you saw Media Day, you saw Coach Pop basically tell everybody, hey, you're not going to go bet on these guys. We ain't winning a championship. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I know it's Pop, and I know that's his personality, but woo! I'd be
I
like,
mean, look,
yo, homie, what's happening here?
he's keeping it a buck. They are in the Victor's lottery, like every those other teams we just mentioned. So watch out for Jakob Hurtle to be on the trade block. They already sent that DeJounte Murray got traded over in the offseason over to Atlanta. Yeah, they're in full teardown rebuild mode because they want to get in that Victor lottery. Look, so 22 wins is about, I'd say, even push for them. All these teams that we just mentioned, San Antonio, Houston, Oklahoma City, Utah, are going to be right in that 22 to 26 game range. I mean, one of them might even be terrible and winning the teens, which, ugly.
I love it. The trash talk only gets better. And guys, you need to stick with us. It is early. It is only preseason. Y'all know it's right around the corner, October 18th. We're all ready. Keep up with us. We will keep you up to date. And oh, look at these Knicks out here beating the Pistons.
Well, folks, as always, we are part of the Props Network. You know where to find us: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all that. At 7footers Pod on Twitter, at 7footers Podcast on Instagram, at JS Hector, at Gentleman Selly. Also, we will be back with our betting show once the TNT games start. Tuesday nights, I will be helping you guys win some money, so get ready for that. And until next time, everybody, peace.
Peace.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't hit back. I don't want to trap what some man gon' do.